Hello and welcome to Tykes TV. Got a familiar face on, not been on for yonks. It's Luke.
No.
Hi Luke. How are we going,
Hi,
mate?
mate. It's all right.
Yeah. I think last time since you were on, there's like loads of stuff happened.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to inevitable. Conway and Lee. I don't think we're all love lost there, is there?
No. It's one of them things, is it? In it, it's like, is it a smoke screen? That's the big question marks. I mean, it's nice to know that they're not on board. They're not making the decisions. We've got to see it long run. What if something's changed? If we're going to find some certain players who are going to be what the fans want, i.e., experience. Players that are actually capable, not players that they're looking at just for a resell. There's still a whole lot of question marks. I don't think it's good on one hand, but then the other hand, you've got to think of, let's see where we are in another 6 months, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's like a bit cautious. It's still early days yet.
Yeah.
And Jake Conway and Lee have gone, which is like what you've just said there. They haven't got a controlling interest in day-to-day running the club, which is a positive. Back of my mind, we still got the controlling, but the shares in the club as such.
Yeah.
31% and an 8%. So, and I'm looking at it. Are they wanting to sell them at rate price? Is it a lot more better to sell a price if you're in Championship than in a League One? And just start over the bat there. There's still a lot of uncertainty, isn't there?
It's very uncertain. I mean, has it come at a time where they know that they could potentially sell more season tickets with them not being on the board? Obviously, like we said, they're not completely gone. I think the manager appointment is going to be the big selling point. I know that we've looked at Warnock potentially, but I mean, he retired, didn't he? So it's going to be, I think the appointment of Warnock would probably potentially win a lot of fans back. I know certainly Steve, it would definitely win back. There's lots of managers been named. Obviously, Cheltenham manager. See, a lot of fans were a bit like, which Cheltenham manager? But it's it's British based. It's experience at league. So what more do you want, really? I think he's done all right at Cheltenham. They don't usually do as well as they have done last season in League One. They usually like bottom League One and League Two. They're always flirting about. So manager appointment's crucial, really. But I've listened to Gene crying. I've listened to Narev, is it?
Narev, yeah.
I felt for Jean the other day when she was crying at that press conference. When she told the story about Patrick signing club over.
Yeah.
That was it was heartbreaking. It's horrible to see, really, that's what's happened since then. And I don't think that Patrick would have had any idea. Sorry about that. My phone was ringing. I don't think Patrick would have had any idea this had bit state clubs in at minute, and I don't think he knew that when obviously these owners came in, really, because I don't think if he could have seen future, I don't think he would have signed it over to him.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. That, I mean, that when I saw with Narev and Khalid seems, he wants to do things, and I think as more and more time goes on, there's more discontent. I mean, Dave Murphy in Chronicle, what he was saying about, what he was fronting and they didn't know about. So it's like more or less knocked it on kind of thing. He's 4 years, we're up Conway's. So I get where you're coming from me like Jean as well, because I really felt for it, because I think when it got announced that Conway only had left, she come out with a statement and what he wanted to go back to fans and community, and you could tell it was like a meaningful statement there, kind of thing, not just to please fans. You said we Warnock with Steve, it's probably winning back and persuading kind of thing. Has it you yet, Luke? Or are you still undecided?
I still haven't renewed yet, mate. I'm waiting to see as long as possible, and if it means paying extra, then obviously that bit I'd have to do. But it's been a long, hard thing. Honestly, we said at end of season, that when we went down, we didn't feel a thing. We didn't feel a thing, and that's wrong. That is wrong. We should feel upset. We should be absolutely heartbroken. But we just lost.
It's been going on that long, hasn't it, throughout the season?
They've drained the love out at club. Absolutely drained it. And that's not how it should be. We shouldn't be sat in a seats just. I was checking my football bets while instead of game.
Yeah,
I was more interested in my football bet, and that's wrong. The fact I'm not bothered, that's wrong, and that were more upsetting than. I'm more upset the fact that I'm not upset.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
it's
like when I was going away with my son.
Yeah, and normally I'd be like, find it twiddling my thumbs on a Saturday afternoon. But honestly, I'm not like looking at in August or out like that at minute. The appointment of a manager is the crucial decision, and Warnock it might backfire, but you've got to go with somebody like him. That's what's going to win fans back. I'd take Warnock. I'd take Nigel Clough. Who else is there out there? There's plenty of half decent managers out there. You can name some who, had come in and it's gonna be hard in League One. It's not gonna be a, some fans seem to think we can go straight back up, but wait till some players are sold because they've got to go. They've said that, the Sens, the owners have said that, and we know that. So you can't grumble at them for that because you knew that before even end of season when we were going to go down that some players are going to have to leave. Some I don't know. Some I think we'll be up there unless obviously they find we get lucky with signings and players and it gels quickly and we walk league or. Because the teams that are down there, Neil, are going to... It's not an easy league anymore, that league.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a good point what you mentioned there about Warnock being retirement and that. And is it going to take someone like him? If he came in, I'm just talking hypothetically, if they turn around and said, right, come in for 12 months, as long as we've got like a rate, 15 setup, which we're more or less getting like Martin Devaney up, promoter up there. And I think that if you get that in, it's not only going to have an impact on the team, it's going to impact the club, the fans, the town. Imagine PR exercise there, because everybody knows Warnock. But even going back to Duff, like what you said, everybody's been calling for British-based managers, and people say, "Oh, yeah, there's foreigners of it." It's not necessarily that, but if you get a manager what knows the leagues, because like you said, there's going to be 46 games, disregarding your early stage, your Papa Johns and all the others, so you could be playing 50 plus games, and we're going to be, if we get a manager in what don't really know this league, we've had it under Shop and Asparge. If we didn't really understand the intensity and what it meant, and you can't begin to first. If we have a poor pre-season, we start first couple of games, and we're going into like say September, October, and we hit ground running. It's going to be all pressures piled on again, isn't it? And Khalid even said that. Why have we under the last 3 or 4 seasons? We started poorly, and it's
season could be over for us in November, December because I can't see us putting on another run like we did under Eki, Lee Johnson and Eki. If that were the case, you're right. We've got to hit ground running if that's the plan, or is the plan to maybe rebuild and obviously come up maybe the next season after. It's obviously tough, but you listen to what they've said. Not a lot's changed. They're still going to be using data. They're still going to sell players if the right offer comes in, which to quote him, he said a ludicrous offer. So, which is what we all understand. If we know if an offer comes in that's too good to turn down, they're going to take it.
But we've never done that before, have we? It's always been on cheap, hasn't it? And never got
but I'm going back to more crime where people say all the time, or I've seen some people say nobody complained when it were crime, but crime were a fan. Crime. We've had this. We've said it loads of times on here that crime. And I've watched an interview with crime before. It's a short clip where he says Barnsley Football Club isn't just a business. It's part of our lives. That's what he said, it melted me. It melted my heart listening to him say that, because you can't just treat this as a business, because it's part of, as I said, part of people's lives. Whereas Conway, it were all about profits. We knew we've always known we had to sell players. But again, people come back at me for obviously we didn't sell nobody in other year, like. But you know, with COVID and that, not a load of money were getting thrown about.
No. And that's
So
what I brushed up on. That is that you look then with COVID, like you said, wasn't that many clubs splashing cash because we're all, wanting help for poor attendance, so they couldn't afford to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, with Mowat, the assault Mowat in January, had we not been up there, it's just I struggle to see the why people compare Conway to Cry, because it's not for me. I'm sorry, but it's not.
Different altogether, that. And I was surprised. I don't know about you, but I was surprised when a question got asked to him. I don't know if it was Andy Giddings from Radio Sheffield. And someone asked him about the manager situation, and he actually came out and named at least two, and he said 4 British and 1 foreign. And I'm like,
well,
I would like throw me back, because I normally they'll turn around and say, yeah, we're still in talks with him. But he actually said that they've approached Duffy and they've approached Hasselbank. And he didn't allude to Warnock at the time. This come out days later. So I'm thinking that's a different stance altogether for a start, because normally it's like close shop and we're still in discussions. But we're seeming more open for fans.
It's a good thing for fans. I mean, but I can also understand why they haven't done it in past. But same with Fee, and obviously, but I mean, it's strange to see him name him, like, but at the same time, it is nice to see that that's who they're looking at. I mean, time will tell on manager front. I don't know when they're expecting to announce one. I mean,
they said, I read somewhere that they were hoping to get one in place before June 13th, which is
June 13th. So that's coming up. That's like next week, isn't it? Yeah. So. You've fingers crossed for us, because you need that manager in as soon as possible to work with players.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, Stendhal were fantastic. I think Stendhal and Ishmael at 2. I mean, they said Struber, which, nah, not for me. He were quite happy with Struber, which, no. Struber kept us up. We stopped up because of, obviously, we pulled off some good results. But I don't think Struber was anywhere near as good as what a lot of people do make him out to be. So, but I mean, Stendhal
bought club, didn't he? He knew.
Yeah, he loved it. He were like, he was just like me and you, Neil. It were like he were from Barnsley. And that's why a lot of fans fell in love with him, and they fell in love. They were heartbroken when he was sacked, because that season, that was just that. Yeah. I weren't surprised he went to talk to another club. That didn't surprise me, because that summer after the promotion,
he won't gain any backing whatsoever, would he?
No backing, got flogged a dead horse. And they were, I mean, selling your 2 best centre halves in the same window were crazy. So, this again, another appointment. I mean, I've lost count how many managers in Maurice, Stendhal, Struber, Ishmael, Shop, Asbaghi, and now somebody else. That 7 in 5 years. About 7 managers in 5 years. That's terrible,
isn't it? That says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, that does say it all. So hopefully it is that new era that we all want, because we want to be positive. But obviously it's going to take. I'm not going to say it's a new era, everything's positive straight away. You've got to give it 6 months. You can't be just happy in it again, because it's,
I look at it like this, means that I hope we get promoted in League One. I mean, we all do. You do, and everybody does, look me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you've got to think on how we've got in this position in first place. And I don't want to forget about that, because we've gone down. We've gone down with like less points than Bloody Derby County, who had minus 21 points. So that hurt me as moving out, but we even finished lower than them. So if we do, I mean, manager going to be key. It's going to be crucial, I think, manager.
Yeah.
And allow him to play what he wants to play, structuring his formation. We all knew that others were tinkering about and that. It's been been said, it's been highlighted before, and not just on Tykes TV, by other forums and other social media outlets, saying that he has a similar input into his teams abroad. So I'm wanting this manager to have like a say, and it did in Khalid did say, although we're using this database, the manager will have a final say, which I find hard to believe that it happened before that manager had final say in it, because I think we all know under Conway, when he was acting CEO, he brought these players and he wanted him following analysis database thing. So again, there's a lot of things what's still to happen to think. Yeah, now they're turning, now they're changing.
Yeah, well, he signed bloody a Seka and Alare, didn't he? Conway?
Yeah.
And I've looked, on stupid money. I mean, a Seka, there could potentially be a player still there, but that Alare, he's a con man. He's a con man. He's picking up wages for doing nothing.
Yeah.
In football, and it were a terrible signing.
Squandered
Shocking.
Money, innit? Yeah,
money. It's like we said all the time. That money for his wages and a couple of others, you could have paid. You can hire your wage bill. Just don't sign as many players, and we just.
I think you've said it before, this, and I get this, and you've said it before on channel, is that you go out and get 2 players or 3 players, rather than go out and get 1 player on, say, 10 grand or whatever, one quality player. But it's not, the model is, and we've seen it before, we buy a lot of young ones in, hoping we make a quick buck on them, not thinking of what we can do. And I'm hoping this changes like now. Actions are going to be louder than words, isn't it?
Yeah, that needs to change. But I know obviously club is losing money, so therefore they do have to sell, and that's never been a problem. But not every individual player has to be right. In a year or so, he's going to go for so and so. Looking at it like that, you can't look at it like that. You've got to look at what's going to make it better for the fans first and foremost. That attracts the fans back. That's your ticket sales.
Yes,
and and then maybe in that year, if say that player, you do get that, like we touched on earlier, that ludicrous amount, then okay, you've got to say, look, we can't turn it down. And fans would understand that. Like when Amel went years and years ago, first time, when, who else? I can't name him off the top of my head. There's been when Urian, win all, and that season I were annoyed that we didn't sell him, but obviously, after crying, obviously we being ill, I think obviously he took that when he did, like, for the club and probably for himself really. But I mean, we've been poorly. It's sort of understood, and we were safe in that league, and the expectation was just to stay in the league at that point. So not every player has to be, in the future we're going to get this, that, and other for him. And I think not every player either who's over 30 is coming just to pick up a wage. They're coming because they want to play football. They want to keep playing. So that's another thing as well.
You look at some modern footballers as well. You look at like your 28, 29s, 30s, 30-year-olds, and with standard football like now, they are fit, they are fitter. People seem to think, you get to 30 and they're past it, and it's like they're fitter. They're developing as well. But you've also got that football brain where they can pass knowledge on to young ones. Because what I'm wanting to see is like, which I think it will do under Martin Devane if he's involved, is like youngsters like your Aidan Marsh, your Matty Wolves, your Ackroyds on wings, Srow when he came in. But you just can't chuck them in expecting him to say, right, here you go, you're a first teamer now. You need to that blend. I mean, you look at your other teams, such as your Lutons, Huddersfields, Blackpool. If you ever mix your blend, you're going to learn. It's just like having a load of YTS. Well, not so YTSs, I'm sure I'm my age now, but youth training system. You won't say, right, here you go, put that in there. You're going to have a bit of experience to learn off them. And that's how you bring players on, isn't it?
That's been problem with this past year though, Neil. We likes of Palmer. Had he had a couple of players with him, he would have looked better, and he'd have probably played better because the team would have been better. You're just thrown in deep end and expected, and then fans are on your back, and ultimately, he might, he hasn't been good. It's been awful this season, but it's hard to, not feel sympathy, because at the end of the day, what's he had around him? Same with Benson. don't care. You know, I remember when I think just before I'd stopped Twitch channel, it were like some certain people, I'll not give them away, were like, but this, that, and others played in Prem. It's like, so what? He's not had a good run in Prem. He's playing with better players in Premier League. He's going to look better.
Exactly. That's the thing you've got to try and get through. Yeah.
And it's like, do you know what I mean? This is what we're saying about experience, that little bit. And what you need to be clever and smart about it. Like, whereas, like, as we say, instead of having tons of players on the books, blend it with the youth, the players coming through from academy. They look quite promising. They're not quite ready yet, so you know, don't throw them in. But get the player that bit more quality. It's going to be hard at minute because where we are, we don't want to be in this league really, money wise and financially. But up the wages to a little bit more when it can be done, but you're paying less players, so it's still fine. You can still pay if you can afford to pay every player 10 grand a week, which is a lot of money, rather than paying everyone another 10 players 3-4 grand a week.
Yeah,
that surely does make sense. It's like a risk. You take that risk. I get what they're saying with injuries. You don't want to, because he said that, didn't he? I listened to him say that about if certain player gets injured, then we've blown it. But you take that risk. You can have a season injury free.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. It's again. It's like I'm saying. It's a gamble. But obviously, you just don't have a big squad. You don't have a huge squad.
And I think that's what will help us out as well, because I think to be better to manage not having a massive squad, because you're going to get, I won't say certain egos, but you get certain players like saying, well, how come I'm not starting all the time kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like what you said there. Don't have a massive squad on, like, say, you know, a couple of players what are on like 4, 5, 6 grand, and we're not even gaining squad, let alone on bench. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, where's that money going, man? It's just dead money. Like Alari reported to be on 8 grand. We couldn't give him away.
It's ridiculous.
Give him away. You know, so I'm
ridiculous.
Thinking, squandered money like that could have been better used. And we could have gone, I'm not saying we could have done, but potential would have been there to say, right, January transfer window is out there for, but we haven't had luxury of that. We've had to, you know, Toby Sibbitt's gone for whatever fee it was. 4 loan players came in, and then 4 players have gone back. So we haven't gained any players of his own. We've just like loaned them in, borrowed them, and they've gone. So we haven't got out to, and that was another thing what we said right at the beginning back in 2017. We don't really want to rely on loan players because they're not benefiting us, we're benefiting others. But we've had no option to, because they haven't put out money in. So we've had to go out and have loan players. And I'm thinking, so what's that going to set us up? Such as like your under-marks and your under 23s academy players wanting to step up. It's a bit of a stopgap, isn't it? It's bizarre on that for me. Bizarre.
But it's stupid. It's stupid as well, because if that's their opinion on loan players, why are we loaning his own players out? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
it's counter things like, bang, what are you on about?
It's stupid. I haven't a clue. I remember him saying it. It's like absolutely stupid. Not wrong with having loan players. The benefit of the club. Yeah, of course the benefiting themselves, but at the end, of course they want to play as well. He seems to think that
window, don't we?
Yeah, he seems to think that, like, you know, it's all down to the fact we won't get the money for him. Do you know what I mean? But it helps the team without having to pay a transfer fee. You can split a wage depending on how much they are. And yeah, it's just stupid, mate. It's like I've never known out like it, saying no like with loan players. But yeah, I mean that what I've said. Obviously, we can't up his wages to that amount in this league, but certainly in the next few years, if future's looking bright, then when we've got up to if you know, touch wood. Then let's start doing it. Let's set a sense steady as a championship side, and then like I said, up the wages that little bit more. Get rid of 3, buy 1 or 2. You know, you clear 2 players out at club for 6 grand. 6 grand a week, 3 each in wages. That's 6 grand to play with here. And then you steadily get in a couple of players who might want that bit of money, who are better players. And then build around them. and you mix it with youth, mix it with, a bit of, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30. Like we said, that's not old.
No,
that ain't old as a footballer. As you said, the fitter now than ever. And then you blend it with youth. Like, we've seen it with loads of players. And it can be done. You've just got to be clever with it. Because we've said it for years, Neil, even when I was doing channel, that quantity over quality.
Yeah.
You end up paying, low amounts of wages on 10, which could equivalent on 10 players rather than good wages to just the 5. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean with that. I mean, but for me, it makes sense. And I'm hoping, like now, all words what are coming out at Oatwell is that Nareev and Khalid, manager, head coach, whatever you call him, manager, when they come in, he'll have a say in transfers as well, so I'll identify him. And you get Gene Crime via and James. They know what it means to the club. They know what's.
Yeah.
I mean, even Nareev said, he did say, us as all fans, we all know what's happened in the last 4 years. And back when it was discontent up there. There's obviously been discontent with managers and whatever's not been clicking on pitch for some unknown reason. And it's just transcended all the way through, off at pitch to us as fans. We're having this Conway out, this and Conway out, and well, it just so much divided. I've never seen it before. So much divided, And I said before, even when we're in administration, we were close, we fought for stuff, and it was togetherness. I think this is the most disjointed. Well, not now, obviously, we started to move on, but back then, last season, it was so disjointed. Like you said, but when we lost, I'm walking away with my son front game, and I'm thinking, oh, right, here we go again. We'll be down at Easter. We're lacking acceptance in it, and we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. You shouldn't be accept. No, and that's the issue. That there is a lot of people just willing to. It don't matter. I've been to every game this season. Blah blah blah. It's like, well, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's going to change. And there's a lot of people just too accepting to it. They're too,
Yeah,
I get it. You get the fact I get it. They're loyal, and I never diss them for that. But certainly, sometimes they've got to look at bigger picture and think you want change. You don't want to see club go down this way. But to some people, it's all different. To some people, we're devastated when or should be devastated.
Yeah.
But to some, it's like. It's a day out for them. It's just they are fans and they've been going years, but it's more of a chore for them.
Yeah, for me, it hurts. It did because I think it hurt because you made it a long season. I think when you were right on the wall and you could see what were happening, and it was like it just a drawn out thing. And even I've thought, I've got all this season we're over now. I just wish it was over because it was. We're going next, and it was like, what we're going to get hammered with this time, and I shouldn't be doing that. I should be going in like saying, we give a good game, we're no fight, no passion, only turn it on and off when it needs it, and we're not there. And then when it came out about Poya, apparently being asked in March by Swedish TV, offer will be if you stop up or stay down. He's no, I'm going to go elsewhere. So even back in March, I'm thinking, so what's damage that done, big team? So. I don't know. But like I said, we'll flip it back round. Enough of all that kind of stuff with them two because they've gone. So, Nareev, it does seem well. And what he did say, in which I thought full marks to you, he did say that it won't be via day-to-day in the club because obviously he's got his other business. He says, but the people that he's got at the club, he expects them to be doing the job what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm thinking, do you know what? If that's what they've got to do, because Khalid, Gene, James... If you've got a decent manager, and he knows, there should be that should be
Club will run for itself. Yeah, if it's run properly, it'll run for itself. It don't have to be there all the time. I mean, as I said, I think his family, he lives in India, doesn't he? So I can understand, his family live there and everything. So, I can understand that. But as long as things aren't sour and he don't disappear when needed, say if it is going badly, as long as there's nowhere to be seen, because you couldn't get Shutter Conway, Chen Lee, Grace Sung when we got promoted, or when we were on Sky in playoff semi-final last year. You couldn't get Shutter them. When it's bad, they disappear. They don't want to know. You know what I
Nariv
mean?
has been at some games as well, hasn't he? Home and away, Nariv. So he has.
Yeah, he's been to some away games. I saw him at Bournemouth. They were at Bournemouth. I did see him there.
Moving what Conway do.
I've said, but I mean, to be fair, Conway did go to a couple when it were going good. Do you know what I mean? Well, yeah, in League One under Stendhal, he were at Gillingham. I saw him at Gillingham. I saw him at Wickham. I saw him at a couple, and he has been to some. I can't knock him for that, but you know, when it's bad, you don't see him, and it's yeah, which. He'd had more front to admit they were wrong, but they haven't done, have they? They've obviously gone into hiding as usual.
So going on to next season, Ben Luke, just tidied up with this. Where do you see next season? As in, do you think it's going to be a rebuild job, or do you think it's going to be? Probably ask me this question in a couple of weeks' time when we get a manager and some players in and out. Do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely it's one to wait for answer for that. But it's certainly at this moment in time, rebuild. We need to get players that we need to obviously sustain ourselves. Whether I think that'll be Ellick. Styles looks as though he's off. It can go for me. I mean, I don't think he's as good as a lot of people make him out to be personally. Woodrow might go. Do
you think if here's one for you, we just mentioned him back with a good one back. Do you think if club do hold out for their valuation, because apparently we've turned around and said we've turned some bids down but weren't acceptable, do you think then if they held out for the valuation that we're happy with, do you think it'd probably be about 2 or 3 players go rather than about 4 or 5?
Possibly. It depends. I don't know what the club value at. I mean, Ellick, you know, a couple of mil at the least, I would say. He's probably best player. Styles, you'll get a couple of mil for because he's young. I don't know who else has been looked at. I mean, there'll be Woodrow. Right? He's only got a year left on his contract, though, isn't he? So he's going to go.
Blackpool won he in January and all.
He's going to go. Yeah, he's going to go. Styles, like I said, with Styles, am I being a bit harsh with saying I don't think he's good as a lot of people make him out to be? I don't know. He's had a season where he's not he's not been great, but he's been shifted about that many times. So we'll have to obviously see what he's like in a better team. You know, players like him, Styles, when it's going crap, they don't roll sleeves up.
But when
he's like Pogba in the sense, you know what I mean? When it's going good, they're there. When it's not,
we're not having a Barnsley Pogba now, are we?
no. I mean like when it's crap. I'm not. Yeah. Whereas you need a player to pull sleeves up and stuff like that when it's going good, and I don't think it's all luxury, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's something what we can't afford at the minute, is it? We need some in there, especially in League One. We need some work rate, some work ethic to get back up into Championship, don't we? Really, to be fair. So
definitely.
Great having you on, Luke. I've appreciated it.
I hope I've not said no too controversial. But I just thought
it's all about opinions, isn't it? It's all about opinions.
Yeah, mate. I just hope we can do it, mate. Appointment at manager's key, like I said, and we know we're going to have to sell and bring some new faces in. It's part and parcel, but like I said, it's another rebuilding job. And when we go up, I've said it again. It's so arrogant. If we go up, which I'm not putting my money on, do it, wisely like we've done before. I mean, people forget Crime kept us in Championship for 8 seasons.
Yeah.
So it is doable, and I know football's changed, but there's clubs doing it who are smaller than us.
Yeah.
But they're just doing it better than us, and they've admitted that. So, that's what we need to learn from. But if we do go back up, then that's what we need to do. We need to follow other clubs' models and just stop thinking that ours works, because it don't.
Yeah, I think that's a fair analysis, that you've just rounded off here, Luke.
Yeah.
And then when we do, when we keep saying manager, I'm going to say manager anyway, because I'm coach. But when we do get one in, I'll get you back on and we can have a discussion, see
Yeah.
what we can bring to the
Yeah,
table.
definitely.
So everybody what's joined, I do appreciate it. Please leave your comments and likes and all that kind of stuff. Keep them respectful. It's all about opinions. We get that, and it's not been controversial. We just openly said what we've had to say. We haven't slate anybody directly. I don't like that. So, like I say, it's all about opinions, guys. So, Luke, once again, thanks for taking your time out, mate. Really
appreciate it, mate.
One thing left to say, you Reds.